Ancient India was a glowing beacon that radiated the light of knowledge throughout the world, the center of learning that emitted the fragrance of wisdom and intelligence. Many students beeline to its universities and libraries to drink the nectar of knowledge. If libraries are abodes of learning, then ancient India was the abode of such libraries. Indian libraries were called as Grandhalaya Pustak Bhandar or Saraswati Bhandar. In India, we had the world's first universities. Indian universities were replete with students, teachers and scholars. They came to India all the way from far-off countries in search of learning. The oldest university known to the world is Takshashila, or as it's being called today, Taxila. It is important we understand that the city was always called Takshashila. Only when the Greeks changed it to Taxila, probably owing to vocalization troubles, did the rest of the world started recognizing it by that name. According to the Indian epic Ramayana, Takshashila was founded by Bharata. The city was named after Bharata's son Taksha, its first ruler. It's also believed that the great Indian epic Mahabharata was first recited here at the great snake sacrifice of King Janamejaya. Some of the Buddhist literatures mention it as the capital of Kingdom of Gandhara and as a great center of learning. It flourished around the 7th century BC. Today, the ruins of Takshashila speak volumes about its past glory. The remnants of this once glorious university are situated in today's Rawalpindi district in Pakistan. It was famed to lodge 10,000 students from all over the world in its campus at a time. Generally, a student entered Takshashila at the age of 16 and spent 8 years in this university. Education was imparted in 68 faculties like Vedas, world languages, Samskrta, fine arts, professional skills, grammar, logic, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, warfare, commerce, politics, governance and many more. Students came to Takshashila from far-off places such as Kashi, Kosala and Magadha in spite of the long and arduous journey they had to undergo on account of the excellence of learned teachers, all recognized as authorities on their respective subjects. Takshashila had great influence on Hindu culture and the Sanskrit language. Chanakya, also known as Kautilya, the strategist who guided Chandragupta Maurya and assisted in the founding of the Mauryan Empire, was one of the celebrated gurus in this university. It is believed that Chanakya's Ardhashastra is said to have been composed in Takshashila. The Ayurvedic healer Charaka also studied at this famed university. Panini, the grammarian who codified the rules that would define classical Sanskrit, has also been part of the community at Takshashila. One of the reasons for its prosperity in ancient times resulted from its position at the junction of the three great trade routes. One from the eastern India, described by the Greek writer Megasthenes as the Royal Highway, the second from Western Asia, and third from Kashmir and Central Asia. When these routes ceased to be important and also with the destabilization by constant foreign invasions, the city sank into insignificance and was finally destroyed by the Huns in the 5th century. Takshashila was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980. The University of Nalanda was another lighthouse that shone its light and illuminated the entire world. It was the crown jewel of universities which existed from 5th century to 12th century in the Magadha region. Towards the southeast of Patna, the capital city of Bihar state in India, is a village called the Badagaon, in the vicinity of which are the famous ruins of Nalanda University. A walk in the ruins of the famous university takes you to an era that saw India leading in imparting knowledge to the world. More than 2,000 gurus and 10,000 students were stationed in Nalanda. It was patronized by the Hindu and Buddhist kings. It was famed as a Buddhist center of learning where Hindu thought, culture, and philosophy coexisted with Buddhism. Careful excavation of the place has revealed many stupas, monasteries, hostels, staircases, meditation halls, lecture halls, and many other structures which speak of the splendor and grandeur of this place. Kings of great stature like Kumaragupta, Harshavardhan, and Ashoka had patronized this center of learning immensely. Historians estimate that around 20 lakh manuscripts existed in the libraries of Nalanda, though it could have very well been more. In the year 1194 AD, a Muslim invader Bakhtiyar Khilji had ransacked this university and burnt all its books of learning. It has been noted that the flames of Nalanda burnt uncontrollably for 3 months. This gives us an estimate of the ocean of knowledge that was being held there. Lakhs of manuscripts which contained ancient knowledge were lost during this brutal arson. Thousands of students, teachers, and monks ran away to save themselves as the university burned to ashes along with its books. This incident not only resulted in India losing its seat of brilliance but also meant the decline for Buddhism as a religion in India. Apart from such well-established universities, there were also libraries in the king's palaces which served similar purposes. Among these libraries, the Saraswati Mahal University at Tanja, Tamil Nadu stands tall with grandeur. This library initially started off with the Nayaks of Tanjore, starting and developing a bhandar known as Saraswati Bhandar, which was essentially a collection of manuscripts. What started off as a bhandar from the 15th century and 16th century was developed into a royal palace library called the Saraswati Mahal Library by the Maratha rulers. The Maratha king Sarfosji, who was an eminent scholar himself, was instrumental in developing this library into a repository of knowledge. This library, which was developed over centuries, is a treasure house of knowledge. It contains one of the most extensive collection of Oriental manuscripts in India. Over 44,000 palm leaf and paper manuscripts in Sanskrit, Marathi, Tamil and Telugu languages, along with other European languages, are found here. These books and scripts contain treatises on medicine and commentaries on works from ancient times. Fortunately, this library still stands tall in the Tanjore region in Tamil Nadu. There are other numerous libraries and places of learning where knowledge was propagated by highly learned people throughout the country. Jagaddal, Mithila, Udantpuri, Ujjain and Vallabh are only a few such other seats of learning which had good collection of manuscripts in the libraries attached to them. During the past 1000 years of foreign rule, ancient Indian manuscripts were stolen, robbed, burnt and destroyed by Western and Islamic invaders. Many of the manuscripts had reached China and Tibet through Buddhist monks during these dark ages. In one fell swoop, these invaders sent India's scientific and spiritual development back by at least 500 years. How long before we rise again to the pinnacle? More importantly, will we ever be able to rise to such heights again? Only a matter of time before we find out.